Hey everybody, and welcome to Binder Minder. And today I've got the Everyone's Invited deck, and we have the Ultimate Pencil Superdrop, which I only picked up a few of them, didn't pick up all of them. And we certainly didn't get the raised foils and stuff like that were crazy priced, but we did get a few of the Lairs, so I'm going to check them out, and then we've got the deck. This Lair did come with a pencil, which is probably got to be the worst bonus I've ever seen. It's hard to complain about something that's an extra bonus that's tossed in, but I've just, even when it was like soul rings and stuff like that, which I love, I'd much rather have stuff like that, especially playable cards like soul rings, than a pencil. I was really hoping that they might do a pencil and then toss in a card or surprise everybody with something. But anyhow, this Lair had there was a few things we weren't really interested in. I picked up a Jay Howell set, which is one of the artists from Bob's Burgers. Yeah, Bob's Burgers. And I got one for my wife, and then got one for me, and then I've got the KEXP You Are Not Alone. This is the group hug focused cards, and then I got the foil Vroom. I just like the artwork on these for the motorcycles and stuff like that. So we'll check those out first, and then we'll dive into the commander deck, and we'll save this for the end when my wife can open it up. So as far as bonus cards, I think this You Are Not Alone has a bonus card specific to it, and then everything else has just got a random zombie bonus, which kind of hit and miss, or hopefully maybe we get really lucky and pull 7 dwarves, but I doubt it. So let's see what we get. Inside we've got the thank you card. Oh, they stuck it to the thank you card. It's interesting. So we get the thank you card, and then some paper this time, not plastic. So we got the lava dart, Monastery Swift Spear, Soul Scar Mage, Underworld Breach, Mishra's Bauble. And then for the bonus card, we have Rotting Regisaur in the retro foil. So this in the other set they pretty much made a modern burn deck, and they even sold these in play sets. But they're just, none of these cards have any value. I like the artwork on these things, but as far as the base value, they just didn't really make sense, especially at the prices they were asking, especially for the raised foil. Though I imagine those raised foil cards eventually will probably be worth a lot of money to the right people. Just, I'm not the right person for those. I like the idea of raised foil, but not $100 for a set. So let's see what we get in here, though. So another thank you, just a different style. It is interesting, though. I don't remember them sticking the card packs to the thank you cards in the past, so these are a little different. So we got Cultural Exchange, Folio of Fancies, Concordant Crossroads. I love this. This is probably the main reason I wanted this. I do have a group hug deck that could use a few of these. Rite of Flourishing. So this is the problem with this, is they get a little, this is easy to read, but they get a little crazy with them. Font of Mythos, and then Minds Aglow is the bonus card. And then for the Jay Howell, this is probably the one I was most excited about. I just love the art on these. I mean, I like the art on all of them. That's why I buy them. But so, thank you card. So we got Agent of Treachery, Priest of Forgotten Gods. I mean, you can see the Bob's Burgers there for sure. Treasonous Ogre, Uncivil Unrest, and Marchesa the Black Rose. That's the commander basically in this one. And then for our bonus card, we got a Rotting Regisaur. Is that what I pulled before, right? Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Two of the same one. All right. And then the last thing we got here is this commander deck. Everyone's invited. If you guys have watched the channel, you probably see me getting in some of the shapeshifters and stuff for the eggs deck that I put together. The eggs deck was basically toying around with the idea of some of the stuff you can do with shapeshifters, but not going full into it because as far as power level goes, I wanted to keep the power level down a little bit and the cost. So when they announced this, I was pretty excited about it, obviously. I was pretty disappointed in the price, though. They raised it $50, but, you know. Combine that with the fact that I like the art for the 10 special art cards that you get in this. It was just a deck that I was not looking to miss. It is still for sale. All these are still for sale, I believe. I think between the raised prices and then just the amount of layers and things that have been brought out lately. I mean, they just did this. And then as I'm recording this today, which you'll see this probably a lot later, they have the mystery boosters. And then they've already announced some of the cards for a layer in June with Final Fantasy cards. And that's not counting the fact that Final Fantasy itself is coming out and is extremely expensive. So it's just, you know, there's only so much money to go around, and yeah, it's hard, especially if you're interested in this stuff. So what do we got here? We got our life counter in foil. Pretty neat. Got a little bit of a poster. Kind of shows off some of the special stuff that you got in this deck, specifically Lair specific stuff. And then, of course, we got the deck itself. I've seen, even though it's just starting to get out to people, I've seen a few people have issues where they're missing cards, damaged cards, or having doubles or triples as well. So let's keep an eye out for issues like that. Hopefully we're not missing anything. I guess if we got an extra card, I wouldn't be upset, but especially given that I've got the other shapeshifter stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and just kick all these special cards off to the side here. We'll look at those here in just a minute. And I'm just going to run through this real quick. So if you haven't seen this, you can see it, but I'm not going to try to read off all of them. There are some cards that are pretty good value in here. So they sold this for $200, and if you were to put all the cards in like Moxfield, it came up to about $200 as well. That doesn't count the special artwork. That's the commander for my eggs deck, by the way. Ren and Siri. So this is the first time that they've done this original Ren and Siri artwork. This is the Secret Lair, one of the... They did this in extended art, but they've never done this in a standard frame before with this artwork. Being a 5-color deck, the lands are really kind of the issue. It's always an issue with 5-color decks when you're not spending a fortune. It's not to say that you don't get some good stuff in there, but there's always room for improvement. So if you never looked at the shapeshifter stuff, what's really cool about shapeshifter stuff, if you do a shapeshifter tribal deck, there's a lot of, so if all your stuff is shapeshifters, which means it can be anything. So it's all creature types. There's a lot of fun cards, and that Ren and Siri is a good example of that, right? So I'll show you this one just so you get an idea at least. Whenever you cast a dog spell, create a 1/1 green cat creature token, and whenever you cast a cat spell, create a 1/1 white dog creature token, right? Well, when you cast a shapeshifter, it is both a dog and a cat, so it does both of these things. Where if you were to play a cat or a dog deck, it would only trigger on one of these. So you do get a little bit more of a benefit because of the shapeshifter being everything. And you're not locked into any specific thing, so you can use any card that's designed for like a tribal effect, squirrel stuff, sliver stuff, and you could just run that with all the shapeshifters because they all trigger. These all have a really funky feeling texture to them, by the way. Typically when you feel these, and I'm sure this is the case, and we're probably going to see this a lot more with the way the tariffs and stuff are going, but this is how the stuff that's printed in America usually feels like. Normally I only see it a lot with the bundles. A lot of the bundles will have that texture to them, the packs from the bundles. And then obviously the collector boosters and stuff, they're printed outside of the United States in like Belgium and Japan and stuff like that, especially Japan, and they typically have a little bit better of a finish. That finish does make them a little smoother, and so they'll sometimes slip off. Like if you do a stack, sometimes they'll slide over a little bit. This does have at least the texture that keeps it together, but for the tokens, you get a bunch. You get a stack of these shapeshifter tokens with unique artwork, and these kind of decks just use a ton of tokens. I still haven't actually gotten tokens for my egg deck yet. I mean, I looked thinking I would have some of them, and surprise, I did not. So I'm gonna actually have to pick up some of those at some point for the same reason. So then you got the foil ones. Shapeshifter. These are the regular backs. Same thing on that. And then the bonus card for this is probably one of the most well-known shapeshifters, Changeling Outcast. And people were really upset this wasn't in the deck, but at least it did come in as a bonus card. It does still have that same texture too. So you have to, if you pick up the deck, this is probably a good one to slip in. Take a card out. Anyhow, so for our other unique artwork, so there is some Morpheon, the Boundless is our bonus card, and it does come with a thick cardstock card, so you can see the difference there. So you can actually use this as your commander if you wanted. So like for me, for example, I could technically, as long as my play group was okay with it, play this as my commander, and then toss this in another deck, you know. Anyhow, so there's the art. Raise the Palisade. Bitter Blossom. Tyrion Mauler. Avenger of Zendikar. Like I don't even know what's going on. I thought it was a spaceship, but it's not. It's like spraying something. Kindred Summons. Tender Shoot Dryad. Probably my favorite card. One of my top two on this deck. Coat of Arms. I like the art, and this is a card that's great in any typo deck. Masterwork Nexus. Same thing. This is a great card in just about every typo deck. Creatures you control or every creature type. Same is true for creature spells. And it just creates a bunch of shapeshifters and lets you do shapeshifter stuff with this kind of card. So if you want a cat deck and you need to have a few cards that aren't cats, you can use that to make it a cat. And then the last one is the soul ring. This is the great looking soul ring. It's all said and done. I am looking forward to playing this deck. This is one, like I said, one I'm looking forward to for a while. So since it was announced, but it's still for sale. So people, because of the issues, people have not picked it up. So if it's something that's interesting to you, you still can get them. I don't think they're going to lower the price, even though the price is getting a lot out of control. So these precons for Secret Lair started off $100, and then they went to $150, and now they're doing $200. That said, though, that is it for our Lair. All right, so I'll go ahead and swap over for my wife and let her open hers up, and then after that, we'll finish up the video.
It was not successful in that. Thank you for being my friend.
Right to the bonus card? That's
Yeah,
weird.
zombie dinosaur.
Did you get other cards? Okay. So normally the bonus card's not on front. I wonder if you get two.
Nope, just one.
All right, that is it. This is Binder Minder. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe to put us in your binder. Ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos. Have a great day. Bye.